Hello, AFTERBUZZers. We've got a lot for you tonight, so stay tuned. Spoiler alert, someone goes home.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Got the snaps down.
I love this song.
I know.
It's just so appropriate.
Classic.
Stand behind me.
Love it.
Oh, stand by me.
Yes, that's the name of the game today. Well, welcome AFTERBUZZers to AFTERBUZZ TV. We are talking the challenge, Stand By Me. Ladies.
I would stand by you, Paulina.
I know, right? Well,
I don't know
thank you
if I
for standing
could.
by me right now. My name is Paulina Aguilar, and you guys can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar. Ladies, introduce yourselves.
I'm Angela Struck, and you can find me on Twitter at @theangelastruck, and on Snapchat and Instagram at Angela Struck.
And I'm Jade Hanson. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Jade A. Hanson.
All right, what did we think?
Great episode. Finally, an awesome challenge. This is hard.
Yeah.
This one was hard.
It was different. I enjoyed this challenge. I liked the different pace of it. I think a little disappointment again in the way that someone was not sent home. It's just a repeating pattern. I feel so bad for the producers this season. They're just like, let us send someone home normally.
I know, they don't have anything in the house, no TV, no electronics, and now they're going to take away alcohol and beer, you know? I mean, that sucks. But to kick off this episode, I brought a little surprise, and for you at home, you guys are listening, I brought a puzzle.
Oh.
Because this game is all about puzzles.
It has been a
and
lot.
you know, I want to see what you guys are made of. So
Oh.
this one,
a small
my
puzzle.
dad buys puzzles. Okay, he's always working that mining, so he gave it to us growing up. So this one I already know how to do, so I'm not
Okay.
gonna play this one. But
Okay.
now, for those of you who can't see, these are two disfigured blocks.
Okay.
The point of the blocks is to make a perfect pyramid.
Perfect pyramid.
Okay, using these two blocks. Share them. You guys have the whole show to figure it out.
Okay.
All right.
The whole show.
I'm so curious. I want to make a bet right now who's going to win this one.
Pyramid.
But while you ladies are working on that one, let's talk about Tony and Camilla. All right. Tony is again going off on Camilla.
Okay, you see it that way. I see Camilla as being a little bit guilty too. She is. We were
Do
talking
you
about
think
last.
she's instigating him?
I totally think so, yes. She gets in his face and yells at him every time. I think she's equally responsible.
I tend to think Camilla was spot on. Bananas and Vince were trying to mess with. I'm like so distracted right now. I'm like I can't even do the show. I'm just like puzzle. Yes, in my opinion, I think that Vince and Tony fell into their game, and which was to get her riled up and to get them in a fight, and it worked, and now they're going home.
So do you think this is Banana's fault?
I don't think it's their fault because nobody can force somebody, but I feel like everybody was wasted at that point.
Yeah.
There was already a lot of, words between the two of them, a lot of frustration that they just kind of needed that extra nudge, and they gave it to them. But Camilla, I think, being a vet, should have kind of calmed it down a little bit and stepped away from the situation.
Well, the Camillinator definitely came out that night, and I
Yes.
don't know how she held that in our interview, like not telling us everything that happened. But I feel like this is going to be the big debate between all the fans is whose fault is it really? Is it Camilla's for instigating what you believe? It's Tony's fault for reacting that way?
I think if it hadn't been between a man and a woman in that situation, I think that what probably put the producers off is that a woman was kind of being
Backed
treated
into a
in that
corner.
way.
Okay, but to play devil's advocate, though, I hate when someone, no matter if you're a girl or you're a boy, dares someone to physically punch you. She was saying, punch me, like you are daring him to do it. It's not
She
fair to
had
do
it.
that
She
because
added
she knew he
fuel.
wasn't going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair to...
I don't like that instigation either. But whether you're a man or woman, I don't like anybody in my face.
Yeah.
There's a personal space, and when you get that close, I'm gonna expect that you're gonna swing or do something. And I've never been in a fight, but I can read people. So I mean,
You got it.
So I think that it was inappropriate. Do you think it was appropriate for TJ to send them home?
I actually thought that was like out of left field, in my
think
opinion.
it was for everyone. Even Johnny Bananas didn't even know.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of physical fights. I mean, Vince and
Johnny?
No, Vince and the guy that went home right before. I can't think of his name. He has the twin. I'm
Dario.
blanking.
Dario.
No. Had the
I know
twin.
Thomas.
Thomas, yeah. Vince and Thomas had gotten into it previously.
Right.
There had been like a lot of scuffles, so it kind of felt like why now? There wasn't anything more, I would say, that happened, but other than it being between a man and a woman,
Maybe that was
kind of.
their decision maker.
She did throw some glass too.
She did.
I thought that was kind of like that could be very dangerous.
What about you? What do you think?
I didn't think it was probably the right move. You know, obviously, trying to incite violence is never acceptable, and I admit it was an odd situation, especially when he was backing her into a corner. I think she was kind of asking, not that she deserves it, but if you're instigating that, like, he's going to get upset and get riled
And you're going to
up.
get a reaction. And
You're gonna get a
Camilla-
reaction.
but Camilla was right. She knows how to play this game as far as, like, this is what they wanted. They wanted them to fight, which is exactly what happened, and she knew. But I feel like when alcohol is involved, like I said, you don't reason with someone who's under the influence because you're going to make matters worse. And that's exactly what happened, and those are the repercussions for it. And I think sending them home was a way of it was a wake-up call. I don't think the contestants took them seriously when they gave them a warning.
I agree.
That's true.
I think that maybe the producers were feeling like we really need to do something, liability-wise, because if this keeps going on and somebody actually gets hurt, I mean, they haven't really laid down the law at all in terms of the violence until this situation. So
Yeah, they wait for the last minute.
I think the message was well sent too, that it involved a veteran who's been on so many times. Because I think if it was, two of the newer people, it maybe would have not been taken that seriously. But the fact that it was Camilla and she's been there so many times, they didn't care. I mean, you're going home.
I did kind of feel like this season thus far, people were really pushing the hit me, because I know that that'll send you home. And that's just asking for physical violence. And I think that maybe that's what the producers were trying to shut down.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Instigating and antagonizing like Devin was last episode.
I doubt that.
He was all
Corey.
talk, but he wasn't.
He's all talk, yeah.
He was just moving his mouth.
But
And
when
Corey,
people are
Corey
drunk-
is the one that initiated that contact.
Yeah, I'm just saying, when people are drunk and then people are really pushing buttons,
Right.
I think that's what they were trying to shut down.
See if it
Guys,
works.
get it under
I don't
control.
know. I didn't think it was fair, though, honestly. I thought it was a little...
A little harsh.
Yeah.
I agree.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I feel like it was necessary. Do I think it's fair? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably maybe throw them automatically into the jungle, but I feel like that wouldn't have
Right.
sent the
I think
message,
that's
you
exactly
know?
what I think should happen. Put you automatically in there. Just
But
send a
it,
warning.
if they did that, I feel like it would kind of been dumb too, though.
Wouldn't have sent them.
You know, that was so separate from a challenge like last time when they were sent into the jungle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, let's do this last minute challenge. That was brutal.
It will look like
Stand
a lot.
by me. I mean, a last minute challenge, you have 20 minutes to get ready and they have to stand in a box.
Paulina, what were you thinking giving me this thing? I'm like,
Angela's so
I can't do the show
distracted.
now. I have to stop.
I feel
Let
like
Jade do
it's
it.
missing a piece. I've been messing
No,
with it.
it's not. I've tried. When I first did that, I gave up, and my dad had to show it to me.
So,
Perfect
we
pyramid.
just
A perfect
literally
pyramid.
before the
Perfect
show
pyramid.
started said to Paulina, I wish we could do some of these challenges, and then she
Right.
springs this on us.
And I've got more at home,
loved,
too.
Yeah, I loved this challenge. I finally felt like it was hard. I feel like we were saying, I feel like thus far this season, a lot of the challenges have kind of been just jump or just go for it.
Yeah.
And this one, actually, you need some mental strength, you need some physical strength just to stick with it, heart. So I liked this one.
And last week's episode was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that as well. So the point of this game is to stand on a box, and the boxes get smaller and smaller, but you can't lean. You have to stand for hours, and then you have distractions where some of these people just did not know to pay attention.
Yeah.
Christina,
It took them 5
it took
rounds.
you the 7th distraction for you to finally get it together.
We all knew that Jenna wasn't going to pay attention, too.
No.
I loved when Nani and Wes were assessing who was paying attention, and the producers edited it
They
so
edited
well. They're
so well.
I don't think Nicole and Dario are paying attention, and they were just
Off nowhere.
How good would you guys have done on that challenge? What would have been the hardest part for you?
I think we can't even grasp it because of the duress that they're under from lack of sleep. plays mind games with you that you can't even imagine. I don't know if you guys have like stayed up all night studying for a test or something, but you can know that information, but if you're exhausted, like you will not deliver.
I used to wake up for work at 1:30 in the morning, and so that's not even all night, but we would get like 4 hours of sleep, and you do crazy things even after 4 hours of sleep at 1:30 in the morning. So I cannot imagine what these guys are going through, and I was laughing that Christina was like, this is the one day I didn't take a nap. Like, what a great life, you get to take a nap every single day.
What else do they do in that house?
That's true. Not a lot of entertainment.
Work out, drink, sleep. I think that's it. Fight.
So they had to remember all these 8 distractions. Mariachis, a guy on the ladder, a dirt bike, a welder, guy on fire.
Tacos.
That's a lot to remember because you don't know the questions that they're going to ask.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because the mariachi band, that's like so easy to remember as first, and Nicole was like, that wasn't first. It just shows like how cracked out they are at that point, you know, that she can't even remember the first thing that literally was blaring at her for, 30 minutes or whatever it was, so. I don't know.
You know, one thing about this challenge though is, and I feel like a lot of the challenges this season have been like this. They don't. Your body is going through something physical, but it's not the most athletic competition that I feel like I've seen in previous seasons. So,
agreed.
And I think with the cast they have this season, that fits because a lot of them, I don't think maybe are the best athletic competitors.
No.
But this is interesting to see. Like Kellyanne seems really fit and really physically fit, but I was surprised as to how sharp her mind was in remembering some of the items. So it's interesting to see it kind of how the seasons changed and to have more mental toughness games.
Yeah, I also loved getting to see their personalities a little bit on the boxes. Like the commentary, Banana's impersonation of TJ.
It was so good.
I can't remember, but it was so funny. And I thought Devin was pretty funny up there too. Like, this box is worse than the last box.
I wanted those tacos. They made me so hungry.
And what did Banana say? I think Fernando put LSD in those tacos. That was funny. It was a fun one to watch. And I think it's interesting because watching, I'm like, that would be so easy, but you know, the detail and knowing which specific things to remember it's hard.
I think it's all about communication too. I mean, I think, you know, between two people, you also carry a different skill of how you remember or what you can remember. So, you know, you either take turns and you remember distraction number 3 and I'll remember distraction number 4, or you do colors or numbers or names, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
And Sarah from the very beginning, girl, you are good at puzzles.
She is
and
so
she
good.
was like, remember this, 6 guitars, 1 thingamajiggy, I forgot what it's called, accordion, you know?
But they're the team to mess. They're the team to beat. And I think we saw that in the previews for next week. They were saying we've got to get Bananas in and we got to get Vince in because those are the 2 best teams, I think, especially in a final. I mean, Jenna and Vince would be very strong in a final because finals actually are the most physical.
Yeah, but Vince doesn't have any endurance.
I know.
We saw him last season. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, but I think they're better than some of the other teams. I mean, you compare them to like Christina and Nate physically. I think they're a much stronger team. But Bananas and Sarah, I mean, Sarah knows what she's doing at this point.
But in the final, would you rather have a strong team to kind of like, yes, I'm going to beat them. I'm going to be the one to win, or would you rather have easy teams to win?
Easy teams. I would rather have easy teams.
I
don't want to be going up against Johnny and Sarah, Bananas and Sarah. No, there's no way.
Yeah.
With how strong of a team they are, I would say him physically, her mentally, they would be terrible to take on.
Yeah, my money's on them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if they don't get teamed up on, which it looked like that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, who do you think's going to win this one then? The end of this
Sarah and Bananas.
Box.
I think Sarah and Bananas are going to win it. The only other person I think could is, well, actually 2 other. I think it's going to be a run between Kellyanne and Jamie, and then Wes and Nani. Those were the 3 that seemed like they were paying attention.
Ashley.
But Wes, don't you think Wes?
Yeah, Wes, yes.
Somewhat.
He's good at strategy.
He's pretty smart.
You guys missed though. Corey and Ashley from the beginning were the only other team with Johnny and Bananas. I keep calling him Johnny. Bananas and Sarah that were right there, and they were keeping track of things right from the beginning. And, you know, Ashley not so much, but I felt like he was really on top of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Because I do think it's some teamwork too. You have to trust your partner and know, because they're definitely, everybody's going to have conflicting answers. I think, you know, between, no, it was a 92, no, it was a 93, whatever it is.
Oh, he did have that first number wrong, though.
Yeah.
So that might get...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be the tricky thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
I guess we're gonna have to wait to find out. And all of you guys in the chat, thank you for tuning in. I know we started a little bit early tonight, and I see some of you guys are blaming it on production. You got it! Can we get a shout out? She got it.
Let's see.
Perfect pyramid.
Awesome.
That didn't take you very long.
I'm
You were
smart.
just like, nah,
Smarter
nah,
than I
nah.
look.
Wow.
She had it for 10
all
times
right.
the amount of time that I
Yes,
did.
no,
though,
it
so
wasn't
to be
fair to her.
to be
I was
fair.
like sitting here the whole time.
If you had to rate
you
this,
didn't get to.
if you had to
try.
rate, did you see it? Did you see how it was done?
I had it. No, well, yeah.
Okay, then
yeah,
you keep
yeah.
going.
No, I think I
see
saw
if you
it.
can get it.
But
Now that you lay it down, it
I
looks
will
like
say,
do it.
I monopolized this. But
Well, don't put like the pressure on me.
I know. Let's
It
all
was
watch
something-
Jade
it
as
was
she
something
puts the puzzle
sideways,
together.
like
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
All
There
right,
you
yeah,
go.
she got it.
Okay.
All right.
Now that you
So
do
it wasn't
it's
that hard. I'm
easy.
gonna have to bring another hard puzzle next week. So we'll
the
see.
challenge.
I know,
real
right? We're gonna have
life.
our own one here. So thank you guys again for watching and chatting with us. And they're saying that the producers might have a blame on the fight because they didn't break it up soon enough.
Ooh.
They didn't have anyone step
Yeah,
in.
production.
I agree. Where were they? I felt like everybody was kind of, all the cast members were pulling them apart. Where was?
I feel like if there's not an attempt to hit somebody, they're not going to go in.
But what about
Because
go ahead.
Well, producers jumped in with Camilla and Nani. Mm-hmm. Or, yeah, was it? No, Camilla and somebody else. One of the rookies.
You're saying somebody has to actually like swing.
Amanda, I'm saying attempt it. I don't know
Yeah.
if they will connect, but I'm just saying if I throw my arm out, I feel like that's when they're going to jump in. And Tony, all he did was stand really close to her.
But they were really in each other's faces. But that's why I didn't see why they came in. I felt that was like for the show, for drama. I didn't think it made any sense. I mean, they weren't really hitting each other. They weren't kind of going at each other. So we've seen much worse fights on the challenge that haven't gotten, broken up or sent home for, I feel.
I agree. I was tired of listening to them argue, though. Honestly, they're
But
like
that's
that.
the drama that people want to watch.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel like that was played out, though.
We got to get Camilla back in here so we
Yeah.
can ask her all these
So we
questions
can
now that we
hear.
have info.
Why did Tony hate her so much, though? Am I the only one that misses that? She's a great partner. She competes really well. I mean, okay, they maybe clash a little bit, but it's rivals. Everyone clashes a little bit. The thing that I did kind of enjoy about it is they actually did hate each other, so it's kind of fun to watch. I mean, that's the point of the
that's
show,
the point, right, exactly.
rivals. And I feel like a lot of these people aren't actual, real rivals.
Well, no, they don't talk to each other outside of the show if they are.
Yeah. So why was he so aggravated?
Well, he was aggravated last week because she wouldn't give him any validation. As far as like support, she wouldn't give him any support. A good job or way to go, and that's exactly what she was talking about. And to be honest, I agree with her at that aspect. I think as a partner,
You agree
I
with
naturally
her or him?
her.
Yeah.
Well, naturally as a partner, I'd be like, hey, good job today, blah blah blah. But am I gonna do that to you every single minute of the day?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
No.
Did she ever, though? I don't think she ever did, was what he was saying.
Well, it's what he needed. And
I
she
don't know.
didn't
You
give him
guys
that.
out
and giving
there,
it to him.
everybody out there, you let us know what you think. Send us a tweet or something, or join us in the chat. Let us know if you think Tony was right to be frustrated with Camilla or not.
I think it was just one of those situations where she was someone who got under his skin, and I'm sure we've all had people like that. You can't shake them, and when you have to be around them all of the time. And I understand, like, Camilla gets loud and she gets in your face, and that's just gonna push. If that pushes your buttons,
Yeah.
that's
But I
gonna
think,
push you over
but
the edge.
everybody also
Everybody does.
drinks.
Yeah. I think the thing is that Vince and Bananas got in Tony's head about Camilla. I think they knew that they actually had potential to be a good team, and
Got rid
those
of
guys are smart. I mean, well,
But
not
they,
Vince,
well,
but
they weren't
Bananas.
expecting to get sent home though. Even Bananas felt bad.
I do. I think that he didn't want to be the catalyst that kind of like made things go, but I think that he had been setting in the mind, like, I think he'd been working on Tony to get him frustrated with
that.
Camilla.
I would agree with
behind
that,
the
and
scenes.
playing up the
Yeah.
problems in the relationship. Totally.
So
agree
had
with that.
Tony not woken up, they would still be here.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it would have gotten to that point.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
TJ is not one to mess with.
I loved when he
even
walked
makes
in the
that
house.
call?
Did you guys see Nate's face? Like, if I heard TJ's voice inside the house, I'd be so terrified. And Nate was like
In his
what are
cup
you
of
doing
noodles?
here?
Do you think
Yes.
that TG's watching the tapes and being like, we need to do something, or do you think it's a
No,
producer
it's
that just
producer.
sends
I think
it
it's
in?
production.
Yeah.
It's production. There's someone in charge saying there, that's not right. They let it play out to a boundary that hasn't been hit yet.
Yeah.
And then someone goes up to the boss and they go to their boss and blah, 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 blah. And I think they just relay to TJ. They might get his opinion because he's been doing the show for so long. But they might be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? This is what we're going to do.
TJ's like the scary police officer or something. Like, he intimidates me, and I'm just watching. I'm like, oh, I would not want to get in trouble with him.
And he doesn't yell. He doesn't shout.
just,
He's
like,
just
stern.
like those eyes. And he's
like, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I love it. Yes,
Yeah.
you guys are spot on with that. He's intimidating.
oh, yeah.
I wouldn't want to get in trouble by him.
No.
Yeah.
No, and it was so awkward when they did because no one looked at TJ in the eyes when they got up and all walked away.
Yeah.
He's the Punisher.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody else is going to be sent home? For
I don't think so.
I don't want to say
Anything else?
dumb things because it's not dumb, but for something unrelated to the games.
I don't think so at this point. I think if somebody does, then they're really stupid, because I think they've gotten a fair warning at this point. I think Camilla and Tony, that was harsh. So I think somebody would have to be really.
I agree. I think most
Screwing
of
up.
the really crazy hotheads are out of the house, or if they're not, then the stimulus for them is gone. Like Smashley, we saw Simone go home, so that is done.
Amanda Nelson, because she
Amanda
was
and Camilla too.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of the
Yeah, I think the
drivers-
crazy people are gone now, or the
So now-
fiery ones.
Yeah, but now it's getting down to the nitty gritty because it's the halfway
Halfway
point. And tell me how
points.
Nate and Kristen are still there.
I have
Hey,
no
they
idea.
delivered last challenge. And
Did they?
I know.
Did they?
Accidentally.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
They fell into victory on
Yeah.
accident.
They're terrible.
They are. I loved when Nate too complained about the amount of space he had on the box because I'm like, you guys
He's
have
so
more
little.
space than anyone else. So why
They're
are you
so
complaining?
tiny. And didn't they they kind of had a romantic thing on Are You the One? So I don't know. I'd rather be on a box with somebody I've already made out with than somebody on a box that I literally can't
Vince and
stand.
Jenna.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
So bad for her.
Oh yeah. Well,
She's funny.
any predictions for next week? I mean, besides the winner, Johnny Bananas and Sarah.
Well,
That's my
okay,
prediction
but
for
think
it.
about it though,
You
because they
think
were
it
talking
is
about
Johnny?
going against him. So I wonder if they didn't win because he wouldn't be an option to put in.
I think that
True.
that's gonna be well. That's a good point. But maybe they were just talking.
Just talking in general.
Yeah, maybe they were like, oh, look, Sarah and Johnny won. Whoever wins next will have to. So that could be. But if not,
Okay.
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
I think it could be a great challenge next up in the jungle between two of the best teams, Jenna and Vince and Johnny and Sarah maybe facing in the jungle. That could be good.
I feel like Nate and Christina are going home next week.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be good if Jenna and Vince lose and they're the team in,
They're
and then
definitely
Johnny and Sarah get sent in to go against them.
Yeah, but they'd win.
Who'd win?
Bananas and Sarah would win.
But it would be good to see
Probably.
those two compete.
It could be
In
a
the
toss
jungle,
up
that
if
would
it
be
was something
interesting.
about height or something, height or something. It could be. I don't know.
I guess we're gonna have to find out and stay tuned. Well, anything else that we forget? This was pretty short discussion tonight. It was just all that drama with Tony and Camilla. So juicy.
Yeah.
We gotta get Camilla back in here. I want to ask her some questions.
Yeah, I think that was the thing, is that kind of really monopolized the episode.
They put a lot of emphasis on it. It took
Yeah,
up a good
and
chunk.
I don't know how I feel about it. I can't say I condone violence, but
No.
at the same point in time, I didn't think she deserved to get sent home. I don't know.
No, physically there wasn't anything except for the glass. I mean, it wasn't on his head or anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's entertaining. That's what we want to watch, right?
And the other thing is the challenge is kind of a difficult one to discuss thus far because they were just standing there. We haven't seen any
True.
real competition yet. The
No.
competition will be in the next episode.
Those two are both such loose cannons, though, that I think they could be a problem later. You looked at how Camilla dealt with Nani and Nicole, who were trying to calm her down. That terrifies me. Those are girls and you were angry, screaming at them for no apparent reason. So I don't even know if it was just the violence, but just maybe the potential threat that those two carry, because they are such loose cannons. Both of them are. So
Who, Nani and Camilla?
No, Camilla and Tony both. I think
Oh, you're saying the
don't have a handle on their emotions whatsoever.
Yeah.
Kudos to production for pairing them up. That's all I gotta say, because they brought the drama.
They did their job finding that rival. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We will have a lot more to talk about next week. Ladies, where can they find you?
I'm Angela Struck. You can find me on Twitter at @TheAngelaStruck and on Instagram and Snapchat at Angela Struck.
And I'm Jade Hanson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jade A. Hanson.
And I'm Paulina Aguilar, and you guys can find me on Twitter at _Paulina Aguilar and on Instagram at Paulina M. Aguilar. See you guys next week.
Bye. I solved the puzzle.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.